Before we begin today, I want to say this gently. This episode is being recorded from the middle, not the finish line. It's the first episode of the year, and instead of certainty, I'm bringing honesty. Instead of answers, I'm bringing faith. If you're listening while carrying disappointment, uncertainty, or quiet fear, you're exactly where you need to be. Today we step into the Wheel of Fortune, not as a promise of instant relief, but as a reminder that even now, the wheel is turning. Hello, beautiful souls. This is Candy, your host, and you're listening to the Luna Soul Circle podcast. Before we talk about the card, before we talk about cycles, timing, or fate, I want to start here. I'm recording this episode from the middle of real life, not the highlight reel. From a place where answers aren't clear yet, and the path ahead still feels uncertain. This isn't how I imagined starting the year, and yet, here I am. So if you're listening to this while feeling overwhelmed, discouraged, or quietly afraid, take a breath with me. You didn't arrive here by accident. You're sitting in this moment for a reason. Today we're talking about the Wheel of Fortune, not as a promise of instant relief, but as a sacred reminder that movement is already happening, even if we can't see it yet. There's something powerful about naming where you are instead of pretending you're somewhere else. We often rush to fix, explain, or spiritually bypass by our pain, especially at the start of a new year. But the wheel doesn't ask us to rush. It asks us to recognize the season we're in. The Wheel of Fortune is often misunderstood. We want it to mean luck, a sudden breakthrough, everything finally lining up. But the deeper teaching of this card is about cycles, the rise, the fall, and the return. The wheel reminds us that life is not linear. There are moments of expansion and moments of contraction, moments of clarity, and moments where faith is tested. And here's the part that matters most. The wheel turns whether we are ready or not. Our role is not control. It is response. Sometimes the wheel lifts us. Sometimes it humbles us. And sometimes it strips away illusions we didn't even know we were clinging to. That doesn't mean God has left you. It means He is still working, often in ways we just don't understand yet. There are seasons where what hurts the most isn't the loss itself. It's the realization that something wasn't what we thought it was. And that clarity, it stings. I'll be honest, I didn't want to record this episode from this place. I wanted to come to you strong, certain, grounded in answers. But life asked me to come real instead. I've experienced heartbreak, embarrassment, fear around finances and stability, and moments where I've quietly asked God, am I really strong enough for this? And then I remember something simple. Faith the size of a mustard seed doesn't shout. It whispers. It trembles. It shows up anyway. Sometimes faith looks like getting out of bed. Sometimes it looks like crying and praying at the same time. Sometimes it looks like saying, God, I don't know how, but I trust you. The Wheel of Fortune doesn't promise ease. It promises change. And change is already happening, even when everything feels frozen. We're taught that a new year should begin with certainty, goals, and confidence. But what if this year begins with surrender instead? What if this is the year you stop forcing outcomes and start trusting timing? The wheel teaches us something sacred. You're not meant to control the turning. You are meant to trust it. There are seasons for planting, seasons for waiting, seasons for harvest. And there are seasons, like this one, where all we are asked to do is stay open and faithful while the ground is being prepared. Delay is not denial. Confusion is not failure. And uncertainty is not the absence of God. Sometimes it is the very place where transformation begins. Many of us struggle with this question. How can I help others when I'm still figuring things out myself? Here's the truth. You don't help others by pretending you have it all together. You help them by telling the truth with grace. Your honesty becomes a bridge. Your vulnerability becomes permission. Your presence becomes enough. God does not wait for you to be perfect before using you. He meets you in the middle and works willingness, not perfection. Take a moment right now. Ask yourself gently, what am I being asked to release in this season? Where am I holding on out of fear instead of trust? What would it feel like to let God carry what I cannot? You don't need answers today. You only need openness. Here are some affirmations you may repeat out loud or silently. I trust the timing of my life. I release what I cannot control. Even now, the wheel is turning in my favor. I am supported, guided, and never alone. God is working beyond what I can see. Before we close, I want to acknowledge something meaningful about this year we've just entered. In Chinese astrology, 2026 is known as the year of the fire horse, a symbol of momentum, courage, movement, and forward drive. The horse represents freedom, endurance, and the willingness to move even when the path ahead isn't fully visible. Fire represents passion, initiation, purification, and transformation. Together, fire and horse create an energy that does not wait for comfort. It moves, it rises, it responds. This isn't about prediction, it's about resonance. Because the Wheel of Fortune teaches the same truth. Life doesn't wait for certainty. Growth doesn't wait for permission. Sometimes faith looks like taking one step before the whole road appears. And before we speak the next words, I want to invite you to pause with me for just a moment. Let everything we've reflected on, the uncertainty, the movement, the courage to keep going even without clarity, settle gently into your body. These words are not meant to force belief or rush faith. They are simply an invitation to align your heart with the energy of this season, with trust, intention, and grace, exactly where you are. I trust the energy of this season to propel me forward in courage and grace. I move with intention, even when clarity hasn't come yet. This year doesn't ask you to be fearless. It asks you to be faithful. Faithful to keep going. Faithful to stay open. Faithful to trust that this moment is not the end of your story. And as you move forward from this episode, may you be gentle with yourself. May you release shame that was never yours to carry. May you remember that clarity comes in layers, not all at once. And may faith rise quietly in your heart, even when fear speaks loudly. For journaling prompts, reflections, and ways to stay connected, please visit my link tree in the episode description. Until next time, may you walk one step at a time. Trust the unseen movement of grace. And remember, the wheel always turns.